What's up, YouTube? It is Jeff Tuffner here on the Glorious Podcast with my NXT TAKEOVER War Games review, reaction, and you know what? That main event was off the charts amazing. I loved it. Going into the main event, let me say this straight off here. Going into the main event, I was kind of like skeptical about how I viewed the show as a whole. I mean, there were some things I liked, but it was kind of like, it wasn't, I don't know. I feel like maybe like the last NXT set the bar so high for this show that it was almost like impossible for it to exceed it. So I feel like that's the case. That was why it kind of felt the way it was tonight. I think it was like overall a pretty good show. The main event definitely played a role in that. There were a few things I thought weren't great, but were okay. Like the opening match, Lars Sullivan taking on Cassius Ono. I thought that was an okay match. I mean, it wasn't really much of a surprise. To be honest with you, I really haven't even seen Lars Sullivan wrestle yet, so that was my first time even watching him. So I assume they're going to try to build him up as like a big heel down in NXT. But I've seen Cassius Ono wrestle a few times before, so I figured, they had Cassius Ono would put over Sullivan, and, that wasn't much of a surprise. It was an opening match. I mean, nothing crazy. I did like this. I really like this match. Aleister Black, the Velveteen Dream. I love that match. Their match was incredible. I have seen some of their build in NXT, and I like what I've seen there. And then the build up for the match, obviously, great match here tonight. So those guys are the future, though. I mean, that was they were like that was one of the highlights of the night. That and the main event were like the two real like great matches of the night. So that match was okay. Well, better than okay, rather. That was amazing, honestly. Ember Moon wins the NXT Women's Championship, defeating Kairi Sane, Peyton Royce, and Nikki Cross. Pretty solid match. I mean, wasn't great. I didn't think it wasn't anything crazy great. I mean, it was okay. It was better than like the average match, I'd say. It was very unpredictable. I will say that though. I really didn't know who was gonna win. I thought maybe Peyton Royce would win, but at the same time, I was like, Nikki Cross could win when they could put it on Kairi Sane or even Ember Moon. They decided to go with Ember Moon, which I'm completely fine with. I mean, she's been getting shot after shot for a while now, and they obviously wouldn't put the title on her because Asuka was the opponent she had at like the last like 3 takeovers or whatever, or 2 takeovers. I mean, going back to what, all the way Takeover Orlando WrestleMania week, I think. So yeah, so it makes sense that they finally put the title on her now. And then they had Asuka come in after the match. She was at ringside during the match. I really thought Asuka was about to go full heel there, but that didn't happen. But I don't know. I was hoping it was. I mean, I don't know. But then she's not in NXT anymore, so it would have made no sense at all. Then we have a very much surprise here. Andrade Cien Almas defeats Drew McIntyre to win the NXT title. That was really caught me off guard. I did not see that coming tonight. I thought Cien Almas would win the title eventually. I don't know. Like, I didn't see it happening tonight, clearly, but down the road, definitely he was going to win the title, I think. It's crazy to think, like, almost like a year ago, I wasn't too high on Cien Almas. I really didn't think, he'd amount to much in NXT. And there were rumors that he was even going to, like, leave the company and stuff. And then they turned him heel, and he's been amazing ever since. Like, I've loved what I've seen out of him since he's heel, and tonight just, was the, just capped it all off, winning the NXT Championship. I mean, pretty good match with Drew McIntyre. As for Drew McIntyre, I think he needs a heel turn. I really do. He was like a heel. Go back to like 2009, 2010. It wasn't a great run there. That's why he obviously left the company back then. But he, like, as a heel there, I liked what I seen out of him then. It's just the booking was bad back then. So I feel like right now he's in desperate need of a heel turn. With just better booking. So, like, you go back to his kind of, like, character he had many years ago, but then just book him better and he'd be perfect. I think that's what he needs right now. He just isn't, like, I feel like he isn't getting over as a face almost. Like, it seems like he's meant to be a heel almost. Kind of like Bobby Roode right now on the main roster. I mean, he was a heel in NXT, and then for some odd reason, they have him as a face right now on SmackDown. They just need to turn him heel. It doesn't make sense much of him as a face, so I mean, it's probably going to happen eventually with Bobby Roode. He'll turn heel, and I feel like it's the same thing for Drew McIntyre. You need to turn him heel. It isn't working as a face. But yeah, like I said, as for Cien, I loved what I've seen out of him over the past few months. And he definitely deserves the title here. Incredible that he won it. Like I said, though, didn't see it happening tonight, so that kind of caught me off guard, though. And then the main event match. The main event match was insane. This match, I don't know how long it went. I don't have the exact amount of time this match went, but man, this match was long. It felt like almost an hour long, maybe. It had to be at least maybe like 40 minutes, 45 minutes though. I mean, it was good though. It definitely lived up to the expectations. Everybody, they were hyping the hell out of this match, that it was going to be one of the craziest matches ever. They had the whole 2 rings, the cage around it. And I didn't even bother looking at the rules for this match. I kind of just learned them as it went along. I mean, they put up the rules before the beginning of the match, and I was like, this is way too many words. I don't feel like reading all this garbage. I mean, it was like 25 different rules for the match or whatever. I mean, I was like, whatever. I'll just figure it out myself. It didn't seem that complicated. It seemed like they were over-explaining it in a way almost, because I kind of, by the end of the match, I kind of knew how the whole thing worked. I mean, the guys were in the shark cages up by the ramp, and, one got picked, and when the other team came down, and, that was that. But the match was insane, though. Guys were killing each other. It was hardcore. It was something like ECW-style wrestling right there, because guys, there was just, trash cans and tables and kendo sticks, you name it. Weapons all over the ring. Guys were flying off the top of the cage. There were suplexes. Killian Dane hits a coast-to-coast. That was insane. I did not see that coming out of him. He hits that coast-to-coast. That was a crazy moment. Then right after that, Adam Cole and Roderick Strong suplex off the top of the cage. That was the insane part of the match right there. I mean, there were guys it was a great match. I loved it. I mean, it's got match of the year potential right there. I think it will be definitely in consideration for maybe somewhere in that top 10 matches of the year in WWE/NXT. But the guys killed it, and then Adam Cole and the Undisputed Era pick up the win at the end. Like I said, I didn't really know who was going to win this match. I mean, it makes sense, I guess, because Adam Cole and the whole Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly, they're all new to the company now. So, he figured to give them the win, actually. Kind of thought of that after it actually happened. But they win the match. I didn't care who was going to win the match. I wasn't, when I watch NXT, I don't really root for a specific person to win a match. And I kind of find myself doing that watching WWE, Raw, and SmackDown and stuff on, on a weekly basis. But when I watch NXT, I just watch it really for the wrestling. Yeah, I don't really get behind a specific someone. I'm just like, I hope this is a good match. I don't care who wins. Just please be a good match like it usually is. And I pretty much got most of that tonight. I mean, Aleister Black, the Velveteen Dream, that match was amazing. I think I would give that. I was gonna give that the number 1 match, but I think maybe the main event War Games match topped that. I'll give the main event match number 1. Very close number 2 though. Aleister Black and the Velveteen Dream. Number 3, I'd probably give to Cien Almas and McIntyre, and then 4 to the women's match, and 5 would be Lars Sullivan and Cassius Ohno. Solid card. I mean, it definitely wasn't as great as NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3rd. It was an okay takeover though. It was fine. Does Survivor Series have a chance to top it tomorrow? I don't know. I mean, I still think it's gonna be tough for Survivor Series to top it. I mean, just based on what I'm expecting tomorrow night, I just still think this will be the better show this weekend. But who knows what we'll get tomorrow night? I mean, that's a whole nother story to get into right now. But if you haven't checked out my prediction video on that, I will put that link in the description below. So if you want to go check that out, go check that out after you're done here. But as for this show, I mean, rating out of 10, what do I want to give it out of 10? I'm thinking maybe 7.5, close to an 8 out of 10 or something tonight. I forgot. I think I gave TakeOver Brooklyn a few months back a 9.5 out of 10 or something. I mean, I almost gave it the perfect 10. That's how good I thought that show was. I keep saying, I mean, I think that was my favorite wrestling show of all time I've watched. Just a show as a whole, that was it. That show was perfect almost. Practically perfect. It was practically perfect. Like I said, though, tonight, though, pretty good show. TakeOver, it didn't disappoint. It didn't disappoint. That's kind of got what I expected. And TakeOver has never disappointed for me. It never has disappointed for me. And the good news for me is I think I'm actually going to go to the next TakeOver here in Philadelphia. I'm looking forward to it. I hope it's as good as every other TakeOver, if not better. It didn't look like there were that many people there tonight too. I noticed some pictures up on Twitter and stuff. They're actually it looked like a very low attendance. There were a lot of seats covered up on the behind the hard camera side. Which kind of surprises me in a way, but doesn't, because if you think about it, NXT is mainly targeted toward the hardcore marks and stuff, and those people like me, and not the casuals. So that's probably why it was that way. And I mean, I look at tickets too for these shows; they're actually pretty cheap and stuff to go, which I don't know. I mean, that's actually a good thing for people like me and you, assuming you watch NXT. That you can get the tickets for cheap, go enjoy a really good wrestling show that's usually better than the pay-per-view they put on Sunday night. So I don't know, it works out in the end. But I think that's it here. I think I've covered everything on this show. Pretty good show. Let me know what you guys thought of the show down in the comment section below. Leave a like, subscribe, go follow me all over social media. The links will be listed in the description as always, and I will see you guys tomorrow night after Survivor Series for my Survivor Series review.